What is going on, guys? Just kind of here bringing you guys back another deck profile. So today, if you haven't already been able to tell from the name of the thumbnail up there, we're doing Synchrons. So this is another one of my favorite decks. If you guys don't know, Dragon Link and Synchron are two of my top favorite decks, and I love to practice with them all the time and make them better and better. And a lot of people like to give me criticism on them. They can be kind of mean sometimes, but it is what it is. You know, I take it and I run with it and I use it to make me a better player. Because what else am I going to do? Be upset about it and be like, oh no, they're being mean to me over Yu-Gi-Oh! Better quit Yu-Gi-Oh! Shame myself. I'm sorry. You know. Anyway, so here's the deck. And I'm not going to bother you guys anymore. Let's get right into it. Okay, guys, starting off, we have 2 Stardust Synchron and the 1 Stardust Trail for the Stardust package. We also do play the spell card. This guy is probably going to get bumped up to 3 because in the grind game he starts to come up, especially if he gets hand trapped or something, or some way he gets denied, the 3rd one comes up. If you're able to win in the first turn or 2 or maybe 3, then yeah, you can get away with only 2 because yeah, you tend to be able to search this card out through Junk Speeder or having it in your hand. But I just feel like the 3rd one might just kind of be necessary. I'll try it out, and if it doesn't work, I'll go back to this. But this is not a bad ratio at all. I just have a feeling that 3 might be a little bit better. 3 Junk Synchron. This is kind of obvious. This is the bread and butter of the deck next to the Stardust package. So what this card does, if you don't know, is when it's normal summoned, it special summons a level 2 non-tuner monster from your graveyard. But yeah, this is how you kind of go into your Junk Speeder and then from there into your other synchro plays. This should never be at any less than 3. I don't know why you wouldn't run at 3. 3 Junk Converter, and to go along with it, 3 Doppel Warrior. Junk Converter, what that does is you can ditch it and 1 tuner and add a junk monster from your deck to your hand. Or not a junk, a Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. So you can discard it, this and 1 tuner, and add a Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. So you can actually also search Synchron Carrier off of this guy. And Synchron Carrier is actually really good, kind of underrated. And then when he is used for synchro summoning, he special summons a tuner monster from your graveyard. And then Doppel Warrior, if you don't know what Doppel Warrior does, is when a monster is special summoned from the graveyard, he can bring himself from your hand, and then when he's used as synchro material, who brings out 2 tokens. So these are kind of like your main combo pieces. The last couple of cards I showed you, they are all kind of will help you do what this deck does best, which obviously is synchro summoning. 1 Fleur and 1 Satellite Synchron. Not everyone plays level 2 Synchrons. I just felt like, 1, I needed like a couple extra tuners. They can help you go into a lot of stuff. Like sometimes if I have a full field of tuners and the Junk Speeder, I'll use this to go into Crystal Wing. And then from there, I can still end with having, like, I don't know, maybe a Librarian and Kyubi, or I still end up with a fairly good board, even if something gets negated, or I just end up with a bunch of tuners or something like that. Satellite Synchron special summons itself from the hand, and if there is a synchro card with Stardust, Warrior, or Synchron in his name, his level can be treated as 4. And yeah, I just have these here in case 1 level 2 is in my hand, or if the other one comes up. This might get cut for the extra copy of Stardust Synchron. I'm not 100% sure yet because he does sometimes come up, and his level altering effect is pretty decent. This deck is constantly evolving and changing, and so anything kind of goes when it comes to trying to figure out what works to make this deck be as good as possible. Which is why I'm trying out the 2 level 2s. 2 Claw Crows. This might actually get bumped up to 3. So if you control a dark monster, you can special summon this. So if you have your junk warrior out in the field and it gets negated and you can't special summon a monster from your grave and you have this in hand, bring it out, you can still go into junk speeder. So just because this is a free special summon and most of your tuners are dark and stuff like that, he may end up getting bumped up to 3. He's kind of a questionable card, kind of lame design in my opinion, but his effect is actually really good. It just sucks we only really have like lower end rarities of him. One carrier, this is the card I was talking about that is kind of underrated. I might actually bump this up to 2, possibly even 3. You can special summon a Synchron monster on top of your normal summon with this guy. And if another Synchron monster is used as Synchro material, he special summons a token, a level 2 token. So he's a token generator. He's technically like a... Sorry about that. He's technically like a free special summon because you get an extra normal summon. And then that way Junk Synchron's actually also still treated as a normal summon. So you can play him and then still normal summon Junk Synchron. And then now because Junk Synchron is still being normal summoned, you can still get its effect to bring back the level 2 monsters from the graveyard. And then them two can go into your Junk Speeder. And then you can bring out your Synchron monsters. And you also have this guy and another token. And then you will have 3 other Synchron monsters if you play this deck pretty close. If you play a different version of this deck where you play less Synchron tuners, you can end on different boards. You'll only summon, max of like 3 Synchron monsters. But yeah, no, I actually really like this card. And I see people only running 1, but I think he might be 2 worthy. Jet Synchron and Cyber Synchron for the level 1 tuners of the deck. Cyber Synchron can become a level 2. He can double any tuner's level, I believe. And he protects a monster in the extra monster zone. Jet Synchron. A lot of people thought that we would be cutting the Cyber Synchron when this guy came back, but it's not the case. This is actually a really good level 1. Jet Synchron, if it's in the graveyard, you can ditch a card and it'll special summon itself. And when it's used as Synchro material and sent to the graveyard, you can add a junk monster from your deck to your hand. Yeah, I thought about running Jet Warrior for this guy, but I don't know. It just doesn't really seem to come up to be a summon as much, or Synchro Overtake doesn't really... I don't need this card in my hand a whole lot. I don't know. Like I said, it's something that I will eventually try out, but so far this is working for me. If you really want to play Jet Synchron, go for it. Let me know how it works. I mean, Jet Warrior. Let me know how it works. But personally, for right now, I'm going to be keeping the extra deck how it is. One Turbo Booster. I actually think this deck could use more level 1 non-tuners. So this, I'm going to be getting some Court Jesters, as I believe the card is called. I'm going to be getting 1 or 2 copies of that to throw in. I still think this is a good card. If you normal summon on your turn, you can still special summon this card. And yeah, you contribute this card and destroy 1 card your opponent's turn. It's actually kind of underrated. It's a cool little tech card. I actually really like it. I think you should give it a try out. But like I said, I am still going to be adding some Jesters to this deck. The Mare, this is for the Yazi play. Bring this out off of Yazi's effect and decrease its level to start getting tokens that way. Deshrudo, this guy's an extra tuner extender. Target a level 6 or lower monster, special summon this guy. Go into place from there. You don't really care about spending the life points because life points don't really matter. If they're going to hit 0, they're going to hit 0 anyway. So might as well spend them while you have them. Now, I do run a small Tenyi package in the Ashra, the, how do you say that? Shithana and Mapura. So, this might get cut down to, this might get changed to level 4 because I feel like it comes up more. But there are times where I'll have this on the field and I'll use a level 1 to go into a level 8. But that's something that I could have done with either of these guys, and I feel like these guys' effects I can actually sometimes use. their secondary effects. Whereas this guy, I really don't do it that often. But I run this instead of the Dawnwalker package. I had someone ask me about why I don't run Dawnwalker. I like to make my decks a little bit more like as budget profile as possible, so people can spend as little money on pricier cards as possible. So I also don't like cookie cutter copy and paste decks, so I will try different things out and see if they work or if they don't work. And I guess people just don't like to see that, but it's what I like to do. This works pretty well for getting level 8s out with Stardust Synchron and stuff like that. I say don't knock it till you try it. It's pretty fun, and if you don't have Dawnwalkers, you know what I mean, it's a good alternative. I would probably prefer to play Dawnwalkers over these just because it's more consistent. But with these guys, you don't have to worry about that stupid-ass ant, so I'm just putting that out there. Ash Blossom, Ghost Ogre, Effect Veiler, and 2 rulers for hand traps. I know this seems all over the place, but I just do this to kind of show you guys different ideas of hand traps you could do. You could do 3 Veiler, 3 Ogre, 3 Ash, 2, 2, and 1, whatever you want to do. I just show the hand traps. I would play, these would probably be in the extra deck, honestly. This is a 42 card deck, so you could actually just take these out and have a 40 card deck, point blank period. But I do feel like I wanted to run more hand traps. And I'm trying to get this deck to where I can play as many like combo oriented, get synchro booster cards out. Stuff to, turbo synchros out. While still having hand traps. So going over 40 is really the only way to do that. My 2 options from here on out, I think, are either cut hand traps or keep going over 40. I think 45 to 50 would definitely be my limit. And if I did that, that would definitely be adding like the Stardust Synchron and a couple hand traps. That's about it. But yeah, this is just to kind of give you a good example of hand traps that you can play. This isn't the actual hand traps that I would go to a tournament with. Just to get that out of the way, because I had someone, I feel like there's some toxic people that watch my videos, I'm going to be honest, and they like to point out the things I do wrong without actually listening to what I have to say. So if you listen to what I have to say, thanks, and you know that this isn't what I actually play. But yeah, 5 hand traps are what you think would be good at your locals. If it's your first locals, I'd say 3 Ash and 2 Veiler. Can't go wrong with that. And then just side deck whatever hand traps you have and swap them out. You know what I'm saying? So 3 Synchro Overtake. Again, this is a great starter card for the deck. Play this to get Junk Synchron into your hand. He can get it back from the graveyard too, which is pretty nutty. Yeah, no, this is a great card, and I'm really glad that we got this for the deck. Three tuning. I know in a previous video I said I cut this down to 2, and I really didn't miss it. I started playing a little bit more, and I realized I did miss it a little bit because of the not for the tuner searching ability, but simply for the discard ability of playing this, getting a tuner in hand, and then getting a card in the grave. There were so many times that I milled like a Junk Converter or a Doppel Warrior or a Stardust Trail or just something that I needed, and I hardly, or even Destrudo, sometimes I've hardly ever milled card. There's really never been a time that I've milled a card and be like, oh damn, I really wish I didn't mill that specific card, because you run multiples of pretty much everything in the deck. You have your 5 cards in your hands. If you don't have Doppel or Junk in your hand, and then you add another tuner to your hand, you only have so many cards in your deck left. Chances are you're gonna send a card to the grave that's actually gonna help you out pretty well. So odds are pretty well in your favor, but there is that small chance that you could mill another, Junk Synchron or something, but that's very, very slim. So yeah, I'm trying this back at 3, but it's a little iffy because you guys know I had it at 2. This the Stardust Illumination for the Stardust package. You all know what this does. You search this off of Synchron, play it, send the trail, and then bring back the trail. This can also banish itself to increase or decrease a Stardust monster's level by 1. So you can make Synchron a level 5 or a level 3 and go from there. So yeah, this is a pretty good card. You could play Arriving and Light instead, but that takes way too many bricks, and this deck needs to be consistent as possible. Rhoda, because I just said consistency is key, so half the deck is Warriors. You can add Doppel, Converter, I'm pretty sure, Junk Synchron. All your main cards you can pretty much add off of this. Magical Midbreaker Field. This is kind of a tech card to kind of protect your monsters. I might actually take this out for something else because you can't target your opponent's monsters either, so you're kind of a dual lock, but this does help you out with protecting some of your synchros and your combo pieces, so I'd suggest giving it a try. One Reborn, because being able to bring back your monster and opponent's monster is never a bad thing. I say this in every video. I feel like Monster Reborn should still be a staple, because if you're playing an opponent's monster and they have a real good monster in the graveyard that you can use this on, why would you not want to bring this back? Or like if you have like TG Hyper Librarian or Junk Speeder or Yazi in the graveyard, anything, why would you not want to be able to bring it back? One called by, because we want our all of our plays to go through. And one Foolish, because you can send, again, Doppel, Converter, Destrudo, any of them cards. Even Carrier, if you have a Synchron in your hand and nothing else to do with it, you can send Carrier and, do all that if you really absolutely needed to. So this was the last card in the main deck. Let's get moving into the extra deck. Okay, so we have the one Celestial Star Shaman. This brings back up to 4 level 2 non-tuners when special summoned, or synchro summoned, I mean. Great card. I highly suggest writing this. Absolutely not going to cut it. One Cupid Pitch. I was really against writing this card for a while, but its level alteration really comes in clutch. And yeah, I'm happy I started playing it. But it is something that you could cut to kind of play around with other stuff. But for competitive play, I do think Cupid Pitch is a must. Excel Synchron, this guy comes up all the time. He's a level 5 Synchro Tuner. I use, what is her name? Stardust Trail to go into this guy, and then Stardust Trail will give me a token because of a Synchron summon. Because I used it as a Synchro summon to bring out a Synchron monster. So, and then I will usually end up sending a Junk Synchron, one of the 3, to the graveyard to make him a level 2. And then I will go into some bigger monsters off of this guy. So he's phenomenal and he comes up a lot, and I absolutely would not cut him. Hyper Librarian, because it's Hyper Librarian, this is who you usually go into a lot. Basically all he does is whenever you synchro summon, you draw a card. One Junk Warrior, this is for your Synchron Overtake. And what I want to say with Excel Synchron is I usually will end up with 2, if not all 3 of my Junk Synchrons in the graveyard on first turn. That's okay because we run Synchron Overtake, and Synchron Overtake can add that back to your hand. Unless you already used it to get use it with Junk Warrior, or if you use Junk Warrior, that's the only time that doesn't really apply. But most of the times you can use Synchron Overtake and add one of those Junk Synchrons back to your deck. Not back to your deck, back to your hand. I apologize. Or a special summon if that's what you need. But yeah, Junk Warrior is he's in here for an extra level 5 and for Synchro Overtake, obviously. I used to run Destroyer or Shield to get that effect off, but I felt that the level 5 of Junk Warrior came up a lot more. So I do actually run 2 Junk Speeder. I saw someone do this a while ago. I can't remember who it is. If I find the video again, I'll put a link down in the description. But I run 2 just in case the first one gets like ashed or impermed or veilered. Anything happens to it that I can't chain block it. I run 2. And I also will end up going into the second one mid-combo half the time to synchro climb and make a big board. You don't have to run 2 of them. You can try a different level 5 or just a different synchro monster altogether. But I run an extra level 5 because of the bigger boss monsters that I run. So, one Charge Warrior. This guy is kind of iffy on how he's played. Some people cut him, but I think he comes up a lot more often than you'd think. That draw that you get with him is huge. 2K attack, it's not huge, but it ain't tiny neither. And he can attack all your opponent's special summon monsters once each. So if your opponent went first and they have kind of a weak board, he can board wipe. But that effect never really comes up because in competitive play, no one really has a board of 2,000 or less monsters. So yeah, so you have the Yazi. This is for the Mare players, obviously. And this is still a great card to pop your opponent's stuff. One Chaos Ruler. This is to help mill cards. This is a great card. Get stuff in grave. Like I said, get Doppel and Converter and stuff in the grave. This is a great card. If you have that level 7 Tenyi in your hand, bring it out. And then you have a Jet Synchron or... that's another thing. If you want to focus on that and play Jet Synchron, you could use Synchron over Jet Warrior. You could play Synchron Overtake, get Jet Synchron in your hand, and then use the Tenyi cards to go into this. But if you played Dawnwalker, this guy would be easier to go into and stuff. So that's another reason I want to play that. But the Tenyis are cool. They're not too bad. But this is just a great card. I play it no matter what you play in the main deck. One Crystal Wing, you can make this guy fairly easily. Usually I will use, if I end up with a field of all tuners and then Junk Speeder in the in the extra monster zone, I will use the level 1 to go into Stratus Charge Warrior, get a draw off of it, and then use the level 2 to go into Crystal Wing. You don't have to do that. You could use Junk Warrior and just go straight into the Crystal Wing. So that's another thing that you could do. I run the one Kyubi. This is a card that you don't really see a whole lot of people playing in this deck. I'm sorry I'm making this such a mess. This was better before. I'm making it worse. I'm gonna stop messing with it. Oh my god. Now I'm hitting stuff. Anyway, this card, cards that are sent to the graveyard are banished instead of when this is on the field. And when this, I believe when it attacks an opponent's monster or directly, one of those two, it will send a card back from the banish pile back into the graveyard. I actually think this card is really good. I also run this in my Agents deck if you guys haven't seen that video. But if you don't like this card, you don't think it fits well in the deck, or for whatever reason you just don't want to run it, you can run Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss instead, the level 9 guy in Dragon Link a lot. I have him in every single of my Dragon Link profiles, so yeah, that video is actually getting an update too soon, in case you like watching that deck. So I also run one Leo. This should be one Baron de Fleur, however the hell you say that. But I'm cheap, and well, not cheap. I don't want to spend $100 on a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's a great card and everything, but I'm not gonna spend $100 on it. So one Satellite Warrior. This guy, when he's brought out, he destroys your opponent's monsters and cards on the field. And he gains 1,000 attack for each card he destroyed. So, he's a really good card. He's a level 10. He does require a Synchro monster to go into, so keep that in mind. But I think he's worth playing. I cut Shooting Star Dragon and Quasar for these guys because I just felt like this was more consistent. I am going to have them in the extra deck, the side deck, when I do go to logos and stuff. I don't like doing a side deck because I feel like it's pretty obvious for what's in those. You just put in hand traps and stuff like that to fit the meta. The main deck is kind of always usually you don't need to mess with that a whole lot. You just need to switch out hand traps, I feel. So in this deck, I'm using the side deck for other synchros such as Hot Red and Shooting Quasars and stuff like that. So for the last synchro, we run Cosmic Blazer. I feel like this is a really good card. I know people don't run it because you kind of have to go through a lot to get it out. But when you end on a board of like Satellite Warrior and Cosmic Blazer or Crystal Wing and Blazor, it is just so freaking cool, man. Like, you know how cool it is to just sit there like, yeah, man, rev it up. We all know this card is meant to be the updated version of Stardust Dragon in V-Reigns. We all know it. So, or at least in my heart, I know it, and I feel like everyone else knows it. I'm sorry if you don't feel that way, but that's how I feel. But I just sit there, I'm like, rev it up, man, let's go. But, yeah, no. So, anyway, this has been my updated Synchron deck profile. As this deck gets better and evolves more, I will be posting them, obviously. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And, yeah, here's my outro. Alright guys, so that was my Synchron deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, I tried hard to make this deck a little bit better for you guys. Still a work in progress, so don't give me too hard of a time about it, but definitely let me know what you guys thought down in the comments. Let me know what you want to see next. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss my next upload. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys next time.